I'll even give you a hint. The auction is important here. Okay, kind of a long one. You can see, there we go. Now you can see it all on the screen. So this is the club position in the West hand that I think we've talked about against no trump, where it's really important that we have that 10 and the 9. And assuming that your partner is on the same page, a fairly standard lead here is the queen. And the queen asks for an unblock or for partner to either overtake and return the suit, or to drop the jack because the club suit is strong enough to just power through it. And lacking the jack, East is expected to give count. So here, obviously, East is lacking the jack and plays the 2. And once we quash the jack, we have the 10 and the 9. But just as we know that East has a 3rd club to possibly get back to us, declare nose and ducks also. Okay, so question is, what do we do at trick 3 and why? We got 11 cards to possibly put on the table. There's a great, if you ever see old copies of the Bridge World, there's a great series by Tobias Stone and Alvin Roth. And always, that was the last, they'd set the stage, and then the very last thing in the articles would be, what do you do and why? Okay, continue clubs with the 10 or the 9. Now, if you're going to continue clubs, this is a really good opportunity for the rare. Well, not super rare. Actually, it comes up more than you'd think, but it's kind of a standard opportunity that a lot of people are unaware of, where clearing the suit, in other words, the next club is going to bring out everybody's clubs, right? It'll be the last club played. And this is actually a good suit preference situation, because after the 3rd trick is played here, if West plays clubs, East will know that South's ace was at this point singleton, and that West has 3 cards left, any of which could have dropped the ace and left West with 2 club winners. And so this is actually a standard suit preference situation where West, again, if West is going to play clubs, West should play the 10 to show spades, the 9 to show hearts, and the 3 to show diamonds. West has 3 different cards that will all have the same effect. And so high card for the high suit, low card for the low suit, middle card for the middle suit. Okay, anybody want to do something other than clubs? Ten of hearts. Okay, switching to dummies long suit. And does anybody want to hazard a guess as to South's distribution? Okay, we got a vote. South is, right when I said that, we got a comment that South is 4243. And how many points does South have? Would we guess, more or less? I'm not saying we can necessarily hit it on the nose, but $12 to $14. Okay, anybody want to put South on a different point range or approximate value? Okay. And how many points, now we see dummy, right, at this point, but let's say we hadn't seen dummy. What's North's point range on this auction? Forget about the hand that we actually see that North has. Okay, 6 to 10, yeah. Repeating the previously bid suit, the first bid obviously one heart, virtually unlimited, but rebidding the same suit, weak hand 6 to 10. In a back and forth auction where the opponents aren't bidding, so we're not bidding like unusual 2 no trump or something like that, 2 no trump is never to play. That's a kind of a common mistake that you see at the beginning intermediate levels, where because there's no fit, South will go to a 2 no trump hoping to play there, which is almost always a bad spot in that situation. 2 no trump should be at least should be exactly invitational. It's not forcing, but it's definitely a strong bid. If North could have 6 to 10 points, so North on average, let's say 8 points, the last thing South wants to do with 13 points is to play 2 no trump with 13 opposite 8 and no apparent fit. So if South has a minimum opening bid here, South should definitely pass 2 hearts. Even if it's, even without a heart fit, North should have long hearts and just get out while the getting's good. So North should have a better than minimum hand to invite game. Now we got the 15 to 18. Yeah, I think if North is in the 6 to 10, and if South is possibly interested in game, we should probably expect South to have about 16 or 17 points, right in the middle of that 15 to 18 range. So now let's go back to Mary's comment about South's distribution. If South has 16 or 17 points, what's the problem with assuming that South's distribution is 4-2, 4-3? And kudos to Mary for considering the distribution before I even asked. Okay, South should have a stronger than minimum hand, but did not open 1 no trump. And what that should mean is that South, let's say, assuming that South is a pretty decent player, South should have an unbalanced hand on this auction, because South should be in the no trump range in terms of points, but failed to open a no trump. So we know that South has 3 clubs, and we know that South has 4 spades. South bid spades, didn't open a spade, 3 clubs. Yeah, the unbalanced distribution, the shortness has to be in the suit that partner bid twice. We can expect South fairly reliably to be 4-1-5-3, as a couple of people are saying. Now we got 2 tricks in the bag. If we had a clear, quick entry back to hand, it might be correct to just clear the clubs and wait to get our trick in whatever other suit. We can probably stop the hearts, right? We have the king 10 third. So, but the problem is it might be too slow. South has 5 diamonds, probably. Partner doesn't have a great hand, although partner's probably got a decent card and maybe a bad card. So the problem with clearing the clubs is that our only big card left is going to be the king of hearts, which is in front of the ace. Now partner gets in twice. We might be able to, one lead to set up our second round hearts and then another lead to get back in to cash the clubs, but that's going to take a while. So what are our other possible tricks if we can't rely on setting up and cashing the clubs, given that South is probably 4-1-5-3? Well, if we rule out clubs, our future probably is not in diamonds because that's South's 5-card suit, and we got 3 to the 10. And it's probably not in spades. Partner has more spades than, or a partner has as many spades as declare, right? They each have 4, and partner's spades are behind dummy's ace jack, but we're not going to get in. We can lead through dummy once if partner has a good card in spades. And probably the most we can hope for is king queen 4th in partner's hand. But the problem is that we can only lead them just the once. Probably the suit where we might have a chance, where we definitely have a chance on this auction, assuming partner can get in, either with the king of spades or the ace of diamonds maybe, is hearts. And now Mary has hit on it. And Babs, nice suggestion with the 10 of hearts. The only problem is that South Singleton might be the queen. So yeah, excellent job, Mary. Now again, notice if South only has a singleton heart, which is a pretty reliable inference, then playing the king of hearts really isn't risky. Either partner has the queen and the jack, and we're going to set up 2 heart tricks right away, or even if declarer does have the queen or the jack, the king is going to quash that card, and we're going to be left with the 2 high hearts after the ace is gone, whether that's the queen jack, the queen 10, the jack 10, doesn't matter. If declarer singleton is small, it doesn't matter what heart we lead, but it might be the queen, in which case we have to lead the king of hearts. If we, now notice, if we had continued clubs, declarer would knock out the ace of diamonds, which partner wins. Partner can't get us back in, and at that point, declarer has 4 diamonds, a club is 5, ace of hearts is 6, and 4 spades. So that's 10 tricks. Now, partner doesn't have the ace of diamonds or the king of spades, although there's a good chance that he's got one of those cards. Then we're just probably dead anyway. So the key is thinking about and working out the distribution. Once you figure out South's heart is singleton, then it's perfectly safe to lead the king. Okay, good hand. An interesting one, I mean. And okay. Oops, we're getting there. All right, here comes the good stuff. We're going to look at this one 3 different ways, but before we do, here is a question, and it doesn't have a definite answer. That's the good news. You can't really get this one wrong, but there might be more possible answers than you'd think. Okay, 6 no trump. West is on lead. I will tell you that West is going to lead the queen of hearts. Yes, it is very okay to see all 4 hands. So West is going to lead the queen of hearts. And here's my question. Do we expect South to make this hand or to go down?
make no spades.
3, 5, 8.
Okay, make on a finesse. Now the only finesse I see is diamonds, which is not, oh, okay, yeah, one person said make and then somebody else said on a finesse. Got it. Now, here's what I will tell you. In an intermediate level game where all players are intermediate, South is going to go down. If South is an advanced to expert declarer and the defenders are intermediate, South is going to make it. And if all the players are experts, it's unclear. We don't really know what's going to happen. So let's take a look at this 3 different ways, believe it or not, and then talk about how you can maximize your chances. Oh, sorry, I got a loose monitor cable. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here's the intermediate version. And for our purposes, although it's worth looking at here, it's not, it's a good one to discuss with your regular partner if you and your partner watch these videos. But as far as what East should play, so against no trump, West will have the Jack, doesn't necessarily have to have the 10. Queen Jack 9 is enough, although we can see the 9 in dummy, which means South should have the Queen Jack 10. If the 9 weren't visible, we might play an attitude card to show or deny possession of the 10. Or you could, we talked about obvious shift briefly here. If West doesn't continue hearts, West would probably play a diamond, and if East doesn't want West to play diamonds, West might encourage in hearts anyway. But we'll say West plays 7 of hearts for count, which might be the best card to play in all situations. And again, doesn't really affect what's going on with this hand. Okay, so South wins this. Also, by the way, when it comes to giving honest count, usually when one hand has most of the strength, like here, even though East-West don't have a lot of strength, West has more than East. On the auction, West can tell that East is broke. The weaker hand should always give honest count signals. The stronger hand may false card because East's is less likely to play a critical role. But it is kind of dangerous because even East might have to decide whether to save a spade or a diamond, for example, and West's count card might be important. Also, if East-West are familiar with this general rule, if declarer figures out that West is the one who was lying, then declarer will infer that West has most of the points. And so if anybody is to lie or to try to mislead declarer with a false card, it should definitely be West and not East, but bear in mind that does have some risk as well. So declarer at this point doesn't really need to set anything up just yet. And so follows the policy of running some winners and forcing some discards. Declarer doesn't need that 3rd spade because we're going to end up in dummy with the spades. And this is how the intermediate declarer goes down against intermediate defenders. We have 11 tricks. We've already taken 9. We've got the ace of diamonds, king of hearts, and one obvious way or place to look for a 12th trick is the diamond finesse. But the diamond finesse loses. West knocks out a heart. Declarer hopes that something bad happens. And West gets the last trick. Okay, down 1. Okay, now, as Mary points out, now we'll see how a better declarer makes the hand against the same defenders. Again, queen of hearts to the ace of hearts. Again, we start cashing clubs. Now, at this point, it's possible that the king of diamonds is on side. And if the king of diamonds is on side, you finesse the king of diamonds and you make 6, right? But what is the good declarer going to ask herself at this point? What is the good declarer going to notice that our intermediate declarer did not? And I shouldn't say good declarer. Was our expert declarer going to notice that our previous intermediate declarer did not notice? Yeah, and actually, let me back this up because I'm actually making this too easy for our expert declarer. Okay, I'm gonna not have East. I'm not gonna have East help out this declarer quite so much. Okay, so at least there's a missing small heart. Now there's 3 hearts missing instead of 2. What the expert declarer is going to notice is that West has been holding on to diamonds like grim death, right? The first easy discard was a diamond. After that, West started throwing away all those hearts every time West was forced to discard. West is keeping diamonds. And West is probably keeping that many diamonds because if you're West, right? The hearts are possible winners once the king of hearts is knocked out. So why is West throwing away these possible winners? Because West is trying to keep the king of diamonds protected, right? That's the inference when West makes a pretty decent lead, apparently with Queen Jack 10, knocks out a high honor, but then starts throwing away all those hearts and is only willing to part with one diamond. So if you're not super familiar or comfortable with the throw in end play kind of situation, the way West takes advantage of this is, or I'm sorry, the way South takes advantage of this is to first remove the last winning heart and then give West his heart trick when he has nothing but diamonds. And now West has to lead around to the ace queen of diamonds. And that's how our good expert, or our expert declarer, makes it. Okay, so what can we do about that? Because we can't get around that throw-in. And when everybody is an expert on this deal, it's actually not clear what will happen. But here's how it happens differently. Second discard, 7 of diamonds. So first, West comes down to the king of diamonds, discarding diamonds, just like the previous discard, right? The declarer is going to assume that, or the declarer may assume that just like on the previous hand, West discards diamonds until it's no longer comfortable to do so. On the actual hand, that happens after one discard because West started with 3 diamonds. But when West starts out by discarding 2 diamonds, then South may think that West started with 4 diamonds and the king is still guarded. Then West throws away the 10 that West is known to have and hides the 8. Now we can see that declarer can make the hand by laying down the ace of diamonds and the queen of diamonds and then losing the last trick, right? But if declarer thinks that, as on the previous hand, West has come down to 1 heart and 2 diamonds, then declarer will play the heart here, thinking that West has to lead around to the ace queen, but instead West cashes the 8 of hearts, which is the setting trick. So we'll take one more closer look at that and see how West does it, and more importantly, how West knows to do it, why West does it. I told you they're going to be trickier today. And by the way, as West, when do you do all this thinking? Not at trick 8 or 9 when declare sees your feet. This is when you're feeling the squeeze, and this is what you discard after you figure out that it gets uncomfortable. You do it right here. So here's trick. I'm sorry, it was, again, doesn't matter, but we said it was the 7. Okay, well, that would matter. There we go. Okay, so now we're West. The auction has told us that our partner doesn't have anything super high, right? Our partner may have a jack, but no big cards, right? No aces, no kings. So we're West. We know that South has 5 club tricks coming. Ace, king of hearts is 7. Ace, king, queen of spades is 10. And the ace of diamonds is 11. Yeah, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to get eventually, right? Declare is going to play or can play 8 black winners from this point. So of our 11 cards here, we're going to follow suit 5 times. We have 5 black cards. We're going to have to throw away 3 other cards. If we come down to the doubleton king of diamonds, we're going to be running out of hearts, and the possibility of what actually happened when we saw declare make the hand is going to be real. In other words, we can't keep the guarded king of diamonds and a setting trick in hearts. There just aren't enough. Declare has too many winners. We're going to get squeezed out of one of those cards. So at the point when declare has cashed the 2 hearts and the 8 black cards, we're going to come down to 3 cards. Guarded king of diamonds and a winning heart means we're going to get thrown in. Now, if you're playing a declarer who's not very experienced, maybe you can expect that diamond finesse. But against a better declarer, that situation will get read if you're only willing to give away 1 diamond and hold on to the guarded king of diamonds and throw away all those hearts. So that's how you recognize it. The way that you deal with it is you throw away 1 more diamond than you're comfortable with, and you do it early. Like you don't care, you got no problem, no concern, right? You don't agonize and you don't start thinking about it at trick 9. Secondly, you're going to try to give the illusion to declare that you have 2 hearts, that you have 1 heart left, excuse me. Declare should know from the lead that you have the 10 of hearts. So you want to hide one of your hearts, right? You want declare to think that you have a heart and 2 diamonds when you really have 2 hearts and 1 diamond. So declare is much, much more likely to be fooled if you keep the jack 8 and instead of the jack 10. And again, it doesn't matter because the that 9 of hearts is going to fall from dummy anyway when you get thrown in. Now, if you do this against a, somebody playing in their first month who wants to take all their winners and lose the last tricks, and they just play to the ace of diamonds and drop your singleton king, don't come back to me. We talked last week about how some of this stuff works better against better declarers than others, right? So we talked about the intermediate declarer and the expert declarer. The novice declarer will just cash winners and be afraid to give up the lead. And so that means not playing for the throw in or the finesse. That means just taking the ace of diamonds. So be careful of that declarer. Okay, you ready for a really hard one? I'm sorry, Mike. Mike, I think it was you who was asking for the hard one, so you don't get to say no. Well, see, that's the beauty of why these all end up on YouTube for posterity. Okay, if you get this one right for the right reason, then you can teach the class next week, and I'll just sleep in. No, this one is not easy. Fair to say. Okay, so we are east. We open a heart because we are not me. I would open a no trump, but you know, most of my regular partners would open a heart and want me to open a heart, but I don't listen to them. Okay, so 4 spades. Partner duly leads our suit. Declare roughs the 3rd round. Declare starts banging down some trump. And we got 3 tricks in the bag. We need 1 more. What do we play here and why? You might get the what, but you got to get the why to win the special prize of letting me sleep in next week. Okay, king of diamonds, maybe partner has the queen. So sometimes we can't figure out exactly what declare has, very often, but we can figure out a range. And let's say that, I mean, partner could certainly help us with count signals, but let's say partner is a little sporadic with the signaling. About what suits do we know declares distribution? Okay, spades and hearts. And how many cards did declare have in spades and hearts combined? Yeah, declare had 5 spades, right? Overcalled a spade and dropped partner's doubleton queen. So we can rest pretty well assured that declare had 5 spades. And declare roughed the 3rd round of hearts. So declare only had 2 hearts. So declare has 6 cards in the minors, right? We don't know how those cards are distributed. So And this is definitely next level stuff beyond what anything we've talked about before. Most likely, just on probabilities and distributions, most likely those 6 cards, okay, so we're going to think about this as though we're not 100% on partner signals. But you're right, partner can help us out with the signal in clubs. But whether partner signals accurately or not, there's still a right answer to this hand. Declare has 6 cards in the minors that are most likely distributed 3-3 or 4-2 either way. In other words, maybe 4 clubs, 2 diamonds, maybe 4 diamonds, 2 clubs. But Declare should have a strong majority of the time. Declare is going to have 3 of each minor or 4-2 one way or the other. So let's look at it this way. What if Declare has 4 clubs, and I mean 4 clubs originally, right? Declare's already played a club. What if Declare has 4 clubs and 2 diamonds? Well, guess what? If this is Declare's hand, everything works. Declare is square in the minors, so there are no pitches coming. If we lead a diamond, we're giving away our diamond trick, but Declare can't do anything about the club loser. If we lead a club, Declare gets all the clubs, but we still have the guarded king of diamonds behind the ace. And even if we lead a heart here and give Declare a slough and a rough, because Declare has 3 clubs in each hand remaining, Declare can't do anything about that jack of clubs. So does everybody see that in this scenario, anything works? We're either going to get our jack of clubs or we're going to get our diamond. So why am I saying there's a right answer if anything works? Okay, so far so good. So one possible hand for Declare is 4 clubs, 2 diamonds. And when Declare has that hand, we can't go wrong. Declare might have 3-3 in the minors. Oops. I'm zipping through this because the hand is going exactly the same way. Ruff the 3rd heart, draw a trump, finesse the club. We're back on lead. If we play a diamond, we're giving away our diamond trick, but Declare can't avoid losing that club to us. If we play a club, Declare picks up the club suit and even gets to pitch a diamond, but we're getting the king of diamonds, right? Declare gets to pitch his 3rd diamond, but we still have the guarded king behind the ace. And I think even the slough or rough works here. Because if Declare's slough is not the club, then we're going to keep the guarded jack of clubs, right? But if Declare's Slough is the club, we're still going to have a diamond at the end to win. So we actually can't go wrong here. If you look at the imbalance between the clubs and the diamonds, if Declare pitches a club from dummy, he still has a losing club, right? Ace 10, but we have the jack behind. If Declare pitches a diamond from hand, Declare still has 2 diamonds in each hand, and our guarded king of diamonds is good. So now we've seen 2 different variations of this hand, and in each variation, everything works. So why are we here? But let us look at variation 3. Ruff the third, draw trump, finesse the club. Okay, what happens if we lead a diamond in this situation? Well, let's look at what happens if we lead a diamond in this situation, assuming Declare doesn't misguess the diamonds. We've got a problem here, right, with the cross ruff. So if we lead a diamond in this situation, Declare has 2 diamond winners and a club winner and can cross ruff the last 4 tricks. If we lead a club here, we're giving away the whole club suit. But Declare still can't get away from the diamond loser. So there are 3 possible hands that Declare is likely to have one of. But on 2 of those hands, our defense really doesn't matter. But in this variation, the club still works, but the diamond no longer works. Now, working all this out is definitely a lot of work, right? Because in real life, you're only going to be looking at 2 of those 4 hands. But the technique is what I want to introduce here, which is that when you can't work out Declare's exact hand, try to picture 2 or 3 hands that Declare might have, and then ask yourself, and this is, by the way, when a lot of times if you watch like world-class players or even national class players go into long thinks, this is what it is. Declare might have hand A, B, C, or D. Against hand A, nothing works. Against hand B, everything works. Again, but what are the hands Declare could have where my defense would make a difference? Or maybe the club works on 2 of the hands and the diamond works on the 3rd hand. If each hand is equally likely, then you make the play that works against 2 of them and not the play that works against 1 of them. I told you they're going to be harder today. But don't let the uncertainty of not being able to figure out exactly what Declare's distribution is. Don't let that stop you from trying to work with what you do know. Okay, don't know what Declare has. There are 2 or 3 possibilities. At least pick something that's going to work against 1 of them. Very, very often you can get into a situation where you think, okay, it's either A or B. If it's A, what happens if I play a heart? Oh, he's going to go down. What happens if I play a club? Oh, he's going to go down. He's going to go down anyway if he has that hand. So let me think about the hand where maybe it makes a difference. It's basically triage. There are some holdings Declare has where everything's going to work. There's some holdings Declare could have where nothing's going to work. And your job is to find the possible holding where it makes a difference. Oh, I didn't, okay. I didn't save one hand I wanted to save. That's okay. Okay, let's look at some, let's look at a theme in a couple of contexts here. Are we still on show all hands? Yes, we are. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, this is a hand that can always make. But the defense did not make it as hard on Declare as they might have. Yep. See them all. And Declare is going to lose to the ace of diamonds, but Declare has 2 trump and 2 good hearts left, right? Making 4. And that seems pretty routine. Okay. So what happened here? Declare ruffed the 2nd club, drew trump, losing to the ace, took a winning finesse in hearts, roughed out the heart suit, and made 4, right? Losing a diamond, ace of diamonds, ace of clubs, ace of spades. Anybody see how west or east might have made it harder on Declare? All right, I might let Jack teach next week anyway. Yeah, so let's look again. And next week, we're going to talk a lot about false carding. When and why and how. But one of the most important principles of false carding is play the card you're known to hold. So how does that apply here? So far, everything is all according to Hoyle. But two things here. When the Queen of Hearts is gone, East's King and Jack of Hearts are equals, right? If you look at all the remaining hearts, they both lose to the ace and they both beat everything else. There's no difference between the king and the jack from a trick-taking perspective. But there is one difference between the king and the jack, and that is that South knows East has the king, right? The finesse won. So East has the king of hearts. South doesn't know that East has the jack of hearts. So what happened the first time around was East played the jack of hearts. South knew that he still had the king, and the next heart ruff cleared the suit, right? But what happens if East plays the king of hearts? Again, the queen's gone. There's no difference between the king and the jack, but declarer knows about the king of hearts. Now, what does declarer do? Well, there's two possibilities. Either the situation is as it is, in other words, we just rough this trick, and then the jack of hearts falls, and then our hand's good except for the diamond. But what if West has the jack of hearts? Now, if we rough this, our hand's not good. We still have a losing heart, and we can't rough it anymore. And we still have a losing diamond. If West has the jack of hearts, or if South believes that West could have the jack of hearts, then South will take a roughing finesse here, thinking that the 10 of hearts might win this trick, which it might. If the jack of hearts is with West, the 10 of hearts wins this trick. And it would be a mistake to rough. And if that happens, East will take the jack of hearts and the ace of diamonds, down one. So the gist, we'll talk more about this next week, but the gist is the first principle of false carding, especially when it can't possibly help. And again, by that, I mean the king and jack are equals, right? First principle is play the card you're known to hold. And I want to show one more hand real quick for those who can stick around. I'll go through this one more quickly, but very quickly actually, but it is another example of playing the card that you're known to hold. And I won't give you a long tortuous auction here. South ends up in 6 spades. Okay, so declarer wins the first trick, ace of hearts. Declarer plays the queen of spades, thinking this is going to be easy, but gets the news about the 3-0 spade division. And that's a problem because if spades are 2-1, South can just draw 2 rounds of trump and rough 2 of those losing clubs. But now if South draws 3 rounds of trump, then South is going to be left with too many club losers. So declarer can't draw trump. Instead, declarer comes to his hand with a diamond, roughs a club, comes back to hand with a diamond, roughs a club, now all declarer needs to do is come back to hand and draw trump. And I'm sorry, the contract should be 7 spades. I ripped through this too quickly. Okay, so what's the problem? Okay, again, we're in 7 spades, not 6. So the opening lead was the king of hearts, right? So South knows that West has the queen of hearts. If West plays the queen of hearts, oh, I'm sorry, we're back. I'm a trick too late there. Tried to rip through this too quickly. If West plays the queen of hearts, I think this is at this point, right? South still can't draw trump because once dummy's trump is gone, South is still going to lose that 10 of clubs at the end. So South still needs to rough a club. If South does rough a club, because that queen of hearts was played, on the actual hand, declarer knew that declarer could rough a heart to get back to hand and draw trump. With the queen of hearts played, declarer might try to rough a diamond to get back to hand. And now we go down 1. So when you have a card in your hand that declarer knows that you have, it opens up a lot of different possibilities for declarer. It clears up a lot of things for declarer. I should say it narrows down the possibilities, right? When West has the queen of hearts in his hand and declarer knows it, then it's perfectly safe to rough a heart back. Once the queen of hearts has been played, declarer doesn't know. As Mary points out, declarer is left with the guess. How do I get back to my hand safely, with a heart or with a diamond? So we'll see a couple of other examples where playing the card that you're known to hold gives declarer a guess. It doesn't, again, declarer could get this right anyway, right? But you're giving declarer the possibility of getting it wrong. Whereas the other way, it's going to be 100% declarer will never get it wrong. Okay, next week's hands will definitely not be as challenging as that one we saw 3 ways, but there will be some good stuff in there. And the possibilities for false cards are really fun and really interesting. And so we'll look at some very specific situations that you can recognize and use. All right, have a great week, everybody.
Thank you very much, Dan. I really like that 3 levels of thinking. That was
Yeah, that's
cool.
that's a nice hand, and it's a really good sort of general technique to add to your toolbox. And
Yes.
again, if you think of it in terms of triage, will it matter if Declare has this? And you'll see situations where either everything works or nothing works, but you can find sometimes you can find a holding that's consistent with the play and the auction where it does matter, and that's the one you want to focus on.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, thank you very
Okay.
much. Sir.
Have a great week. I will see you next week. Happy April Fool's Day.
Oh, right. See you next week. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Bye.